French President Emmanuel Macron has kicked off the annual Paris Farm Fair. The Salon d'Agriculture draws about 600,000 people every year. The event spans 9 days. It's a bit of fun. It can also be a bit political. Agriculture, a major portion of the French economy. France 24's own Liza Kaminoff covering the event this year for us. She has more.
Hi, Will. So, yes, I'm here at the 61st edition of the Agriculture Show, and I'm here with Alex, a cow breeder from Brittany. He's also a milk producer, and he comes here to the show every year. So, Alex, can you tell me, what are you doing right now?
I'm here to help make the cow ready for the show, so make her shine. So we clip her pretty short, and she look nice, the hair short like that. So, and I come here every year to get cows ready. I travel the world to do that too. Yeah.
Fantastic. And so, Alex, can you tell me, so this time last year there was a bit of chaos at the show, a lot of angry farmers with a long list of unanswered questions for President Macron. For you personally, what has changed between last year and this year, and what are you hoping from the government?
Actually, the things doesn't change a lot from last year. It's hard to make money and live from milk here in France. It's different from the other country. All the other country can live pretty decently with milk. In France, you have a lot of taxes and a lot of things coming up on top of your daily work at home with your cows. So then it's for us. It's too much taxes and too much thing on top of what we have for a milk price. And then for us, it's pretty much impossible to invest money. Actually, at my home place, I'm trying to make a new barn and build something, but it's like pretty much impossible today. So.
Okay, I see. Thank you very much. So Alex is one of the 1,000 exhibitors who are here today, who could meet President Macron as he's walking from stand to stand to greet the farmers and breeders and to be here to listen to their concerns.
All right, Liza, thank you very much. Liza Kaminoff reporting from the Paris Farm Fair. Here to talk more on that subject, joining us from London is Andrew Smith. He's a lecturer in liberal arts at Queen Mary University of London. Hello to you, Andrew. Don't know if you heard that brief interview, that French dairy farmer saying France is different from many other countries in Europe where farmers can supposedly make a more comfortable living than here in France. Is France really a unique case in the EU?
Well, it's important to consider just how central agriculture has been to France, to its culture, to its politics for a long time. And of course, your interviewer there spoke about the chaos last year, which met Emmanuel Macron. Now, there's a lot more calm this year, but I don't think that that only masks some of the continuing problems. And those kind of problems are around issues, as we heard, of subsidies, around taxation, around costs. But I think it's really important not to think of farmers as one body, to think of them as people that just have a kind of simplistic demand for protection and all the rest of it. Even last year, after those sort of violent kind of confrontations, we even then saw the president of the FNSCA, the National Farmers Union, Arnaud Rousseau. He said that was maybe a necessary moment of anger. This was, essentially a savvy political negotiation, which won round some big changes. And those big changes, I think, are what has changed the context of this. And that is, of course, the introduction of the agricultural orientation law, which just passed through the Senate as its last step and will now move into force. That was the big promise last year, which has been delivered just in short order. If it hadn't been, I think we would have seen a lot different reception today for the president.
Yeah, and the president, once he was there at the Paris Farm Fair this Saturday, he mentioned that France is still trying to block blocking minority within the European Union to prevent this big trade deal with some South American countries from coming into force. But is there any likelihood he can do that?
Well, absolutely. It's this big Mercosur agreement with South American countries. That brings, what is it, like 700 million people into this trading bloc. You've got nearly 45 billion euros worth of trade it would cover. This is huge in terms of its importance, in terms of its symbolism. Now, it's been signed off by Ursula von der Leyen. She said it was a win-win, but then it has to kind of rumble through the steps of European democracy. So it will come, first of all, to the EU Council. That's heads of state. It needs to get a 65% majority to then move to the Parliament. Now, there's some people that are in favour of it. Germany, Spain, Portugal, big countries that are in favour. But France is dead set against it. Macron said he's dead set against it. And he's also assembled a little bit of a kind of blocking party, as it were. And we've got countries like Austria, the Netherlands, Ireland, Italy as well, who are sort of against this idea of bringing this in. Now, again, why is this? Is it just that farmers don't want competition? Well, no, it's about a number of different issues. If something suffered in the agricultural orientation law that was brought in, it was perhaps environmental protections. But there's a big difficulty here because, if France says that it values these things, it has to value them in trade as well. It's great to have cheaper food at the market, but if the cost of that cheaper food is the use of pesticides and treatments and chemicals that are banned here, if it's environmental practices that are banned here, if it's labour practices that are banned here, then what's the real cost of that coming through? And that resistance is really coming from farmers standing up and saying, of course we can't outcompete this because we're not allowed to do the same things. You look at, we've got the Prime Minister of Morocco who's in Paris this weekend. Great that France is kind of repairing relationships with Morocco. But look at something like Moroccan tomatoes. They're using pesticides that are illegal to use in France, labour practices that are illegal in France. If these things are valuable, if they want to defend these things, French farmers are saying that actually France needs to defend it at the till, in the soil, throughout its country, in its dealings with its farmers. So this is a really important thing. I think environmental protection, trade, and these European level agreements are all bound together as part of a wider whole as well.
And this French government, though, I mean, we've seen a fractured French government. We've seen a fractured government in Germany. These are the two biggest economies in the EU. Is either one in a position to do something that could sort of offer farmers more assistance, like they're hoping to receive?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've seen this agricultural orientation law, as I said, that's designed to really try and get out of the way of French farmers. Now, I mentioned those kind of like political negotiations. Of course, there's been big changes in France just at the start of this month. The elections to the departmental chambers of agriculture. The FNSEA, the Farmers Union, the National Farmers Union, is the biggest representative. It's always dominated those chambers of agriculture. Now, it saw a lot of its demands reflected in that agricultural orientation law. It got some big wins in terms of that. But it's also been a body that's traditionally been associated with being, I don't know, like a constructive relationship with government. And it's seen a lot of challenges. Confédération Paysanne is one of the big kind of groups that usually challenges it, kind of from the left, more environmental transition oriented. But the big headline has been around the Yellow Hats, the Coordination Rurale, the sort of insurgent group, which is more tied towards angry protests and really associated with the far right, not formally with the National Rally, but they're not inimical, let's say. Now, that's a big challenge there as well. And if France has to deliver, it has to deliver at home as well as on that national kind of international, deliver nationally, domestically, as well as at that supranational level in Europe. So it's a really important negotiation for France to lead in Europe, for France to defend its farmers at the European level. It has to deliver on these promises in the agricultural orientation law at home. So it has to work on these relationships with the unions. It has to build these types of promises. And for Emmanuel Macron to make promises while he walks around the floor, to say that it's, farmers will not be used as an adjustment tool in these types of discussions, he really has to deliver on that. He's stepping back from national politics a little bit. We've seen François Bayrou, as Prime Minister, become more involved. But this is an international level agreement where Emmanuel Macron can really make himself and his authority felt at that European level to defend French farms and French farmers.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Andrew Smith speaking to us there from London.